Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NASCAR Cup Series, Cookout Southern 500, a crown jewel event in the NASCAR Cup Series. 500 miles at Darlington, 367 laps, 3 stages, 115, 115, 137. Fuel window is 70 to 75. You're going to want tires way before that. 13 sets of tires, 12 new, the qualifying plus the qualifying set. Should go through all of them. Definitely pit stops in each stage. I could see teams, if it goes green, 2 stops per stage. That would be about 38 laps. The thing is, as big as tire fall off is, 2 to 3 seconds, you get somebody that comes in early, you're going to have everyone just follow suit. More likely we'll have cautions, and you'll still see that. But one of the categories I'm going to go over is high tire wear tracks like California, Homestead, Darlington. The drivers that can manage their tires and not wear out the right rear tire, not spin the tires if they have an issue, not slide the tires if there's something. Those are the drivers that are going to be able to manage these cars late in a run. We saw in the Xfinity race today, people were sliding around 15, 20 laps and like screaming for their, driving like on ice. I mean, so where this, it's going to be crazy. First race of the playoffs. All right, so the last 10 Southern 500s, 6 have been won by Toyota, 2 by Ford, 2 by Chevrolet. We saw in qualifying today, Chevrolet was like out to lunch. They were like non-existent. Let's pull up the qualifying here. Cookout Southern 500. So we got 3 Toyotas leading the field. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick. And then we got 7 Fords. Blaney Keselowski, Logano, Harvick, Buescher, McDowell, Almirola. First Chevy, we have Kyle Busch. And then a Ford, Chevy, Ford. So in the top 20, there is 6 Chevrolets. Shout out to the 15th qualifier in his second ever Cup race, driving the Legacy Motor Club number 42, Carson Hocevar, my buddy. Met him at Gateway. So I met him right after qualifying for his first Cup race. Here he is qualifying 15th at Darlington. Shout out to him. Playoff drivers, first 9. And then Busch is 11th. Ty Gibbs, see here. Kyle Larson is 18th. Bubba is 19th. Byron is 23rd. Stenhouse 25th. Chastain 27th. And Mark Truex Jr. 31st. Denny win the Xfinity race today. Whew, what a race. 5 of the last, this is a cool stat I found. 4 of the last 5 Southern 500s, the eventual champion finished in the top 4 of the 5. 5 out of the last 6, that actually dates back to 2017. 5 of the last 6 Southern 500s, the eventual champion finished in the top 8. The last 8 Southern 500s, no overtime. Alright, let's run down the high tire wear tracks, the last 6 races on those. Joey Logano 9.3, 1 win. Kevin Harvick 9.8. Denny Hamlin 10.5. William Byron 11.6. Austin Dillon 12.6. Now remember, not only do we have the 16 playoff drivers, we have the number 9 Chase Elliott in the owner playoffs. The 23 is only in the driver playoffs above Wallace, not in the owner. Anybody else can win this race. Last year, the first 4 races last year were won by non-playoff drivers. Stenhouse 13.3, Suarez 13.3, Brad Keselowski 14.0, and Chase Elliott 14.3. That's on high tire wear tracks. If we look at just the last 3 Darlington races, William Byron 7.3 to win. He was on the other list. Logano 7.6 in a win. He was on the other list. Christopher Bell 8.3, but he's not on the other list. Tyler Reddick 9.0, Justin Haley 10.0, Denny Hamlin 11.6, Kevin Harvick 13.0, Blaney 13.0, Bubba Wallace 13.6, Harrison Burton 13.6. In the last 8 Darlington races, so moving back a little farther to 2020, Kevin Harvick 6.9 and 2 wins, Denny Hamlin 7.5 and 2 wins, Logano 8.9 and a win, Tyler Reddick 12.5, Brad Keselowski 13.0, Harrison Burton 13.7. Could you imagine the number 21 Wood brothers getting their 100th win, Harrison Burton's first career win at Darlington in the Southern 500, which the Wood brothers won multiple times? How cool would that be? William Levy 14.0 in a win, Kyle Larson 14.4, Eric Jones 14.8, Martin Truex Jr. 16.1 in a win. Now let's look at the intermediate track. So this is any track that's 1.3 to 2, basically to 2. I don't include, or probably 1.9. I don't include Montana. I don't include Michigan in this. They're their own separate things, but Gateway's kind of more in the short track kind of deal because it runs more like a short track with the intermediate package. But just on the pure intermediate tracks, 14 races in the last 2 years. Next gen stats: Denny Hamlin 10.3 and 2 wins, William Byron 10.5 and 2 wins, Ross Chastain 12.2 and a win, Kyle Larson 12.5, Joey Logano 13.2 and a win, Tyler Reddick 13.5 and a win, Christopher Bell 13.8, Martin Truex Jr. 14, Kevin Harvick 14.3, Alex Bowman 14.5 and a win, Bubba Wallace 14.6 and a win. So let's go back to last year's Southern 500. Average running position: Kyle Busch 3.99, Denny Hamlin 5.36, William Byron 5.41, Christopher Bell 5.51, Joey Logano 6.89. So far, these are all playoff drivers. These are drivers that need to be in the top 10, that need to run up front. Eric Jones 7.47, got the win last year. Martin Truex Jr. 7.84, Tyler Reddick 8.49, Ryan Blaney 9.42, Bubba Wallace 9.91. Very interesting. Those are drivers that, especially Bubba Wallace, he's 8 points out of the playoff spot right now. And realistically, of the 16 playoff drivers, in my opinion, Bubba Wallace is literally racing 4 of them. Whoever the lowest score is. So right now, the 4 that are above him: Blaney, McDowell, Stenhouse, Harvick. He's only really racing those 4 right now. Laps in the top 15. Obviously, the closer to the front you are, the better chance you have of winning. Christopher Bell, 367 laps, every lap. Denny Hamlin, 366. William Byron, 366. Eric Jones, 364. Logano, Blaney, 363. Kyle Larson, 345. Alright. NASCAR Fantasy Live. Like I talked about before on here, I'm in 5 different leagues. TMD NASCAR, XM FRP, which is Fantasy Racing Preview, MRN Inside Line, NASCAR American Motormouth, and NASCAR Fastlane. So this week we're going to do 2 different fantasy lineups, one for TMD NASCAR, one for Fantasy Racing Preview, one for MRN Inside Line. The other one will be for NASCAR American Motormouth and NASCAR Fastlane. The one for TMD NASCAR, which is the league that I'm in, it's kind of honestly my priority league, but that's the one I look at first and follow first. I am playing Chase Elliott, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, and Bubba Wallace in the garage. In the other one, I'm playing Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott in the garage. So, playoffs. 16 playoff drivers. Now, everybody else is basically trying to get to 17. The higher you are in points, the more money you make. We all heard this before. You want to be top 20 in points for your sponsors. You want to be top 25. You got goals like that you set for yourself. These 16 playoff drivers have a chance of winning the playoffs. I know. There are people out there, which I don't know why, that still wish we didn't have playoffs. 20 years into it, they don't wish we didn't have playoffs. So, 2003, this race, after race 26 with 10 to go, Matt Kenseth had a 418-point lead over Dale Jr. 16th in points was Bill Elliott, 1,077 points behind. So, at the point standings then, 185 was the most you could get in a race. Atkinson had a 2.25 race lead in points. He could have skipped 2 races and still be leading points. He ended up winning by 90 over Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson had 6 straight top 3 finishes. Then Dale Jr. was third, 207 back. We don't need that again. The points the way we do it now with the playoffs. This gives us 3 to 5 races before the playoffs, meaning something. That race right before the 26th race of the year, at one time meant absolutely nothing. It means the world now. You win, you're in. So, right now, in points, William Byron plus 29 to the cut line. Martin Truex Jr. plus 29 to the cut line. Yes, they have a ton of... They have 36 playoff points. You got to look at them to the cut line. So if they have a bad race, they could be below the cut line. Those playoff points only help them at that point once it resets. Then we have Denny Hamlin plus 18, Buescher plus 14, Kyle Busch plus 12, Kyle Larson plus 10, Christopher Bell plus 7, Ross Chastain plus 4, Brad Keselowski plus 3, Reddick plus 2, Logano and Blaney plus 1, McDowell minus 1, Stenhouse minus 3, Harvick minus 4, and Bubba Wallace minus 8. So you have a 20-point swing from 5th to 16th in the points. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Now, as a Bubba Wallace fan, rooting for him getting points, top 10s, average running for position. As a Michael McDowell fan, same thing. Same thing when it comes to Tyler Reddick. Brad Keselowski's plus 3. He definitely needs a good run. Christopher Bell plus 7. He's got a little wiggle room, but he's still got to watch out where everybody else is. Kyle Busch plus 12. 3 wins. He needs to protect those 12 points, but also go after more points. I have multiple favorite drivers. William Byron plus 29. Cool beans. Again, he can't be reckless, but he's got to go for the stage points and stage wins to get the more bonus points, but he can't give up points. The 4 picks to win the Cookout Southern 500: William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Bubba Wallace. As bad as people talk about Bubba Wallace, that makes me a bigger fan of his. You can look at like I said in the playoff preview and prediction, you can make a case for him to get to at least the round of 8. He does well in a lot of these races. He's getting better. We all know that. If you don't know that, you probably should figure it out. He's not going anywhere. He's a winning driver in this series. He has a team that believes in him. He's in the playoffs. He's taking the next step each year. His 3rd full season in the 2311 car. The first year, he didn't have a teammate. He was a solo. Yeah, I know everyone says, well, it's part of Joe Gibbs Racing. It's not part of Joe Gibbs Racing. It's 2311. Yes, they have a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs. Maybe till next year. That's up to next year. But Cookout Southern 500 preview, 4 picks: William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Wallace. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports content.